Morning, everyone. It's Grow with Joe here to give you more tips on how to improve yourself personally and financially. And today we're going to talk about how to save yourself a lot of headaches when it comes to estate planning. This is mostly estate planning topic right here. But one simple thing that a lot of people don't seem to update is a beneficiary. Beneficiary is telling the investment company or your 401k company, who do you want this money to go to if you were to pass away. And death is something we don't like to talk about because we think we're invincible, but yeah, it's really important. This can save a lot of headaches. This is one of those low probability, high impact things where hey, it only takes 15 minutes, 10 minutes to update, but it can have a huge impact if it's done correctly. If it's done incorrectly, then it can be really hard to fix, or it can be impossible to fix, and it just causes a lot of headaches. And so a beneficiary is saying hey, if I have money in my IRA, or if I have money in this investment account, this taxable account, or I have money in my 401k, who would I want this money to go to? So you have your beneficiary as your primary. So you can have more than one beneficiary where I say you want 25% to go to kid one, another 25% to go to kid two, and then let's say you want to give the other 50% to the godparents. I don't know, because they're going to take care of the kids. You get to decide how this money is going to be passed on to the next generation. And it can prevent a lot of issues with probate. So probate is something that is expensive. It could take a while. So if you don't have the proper stuff, then people that are outside of you or your family or your estate can say hey, they owe me money and everything. But hey, if you properly title your investments, then that is safe. Yeah, so basically you want to make sure these are updated and they're going to the right person. So you can break down your beneficiary to just, hey, 1%, it goes, 100% goes to one person. So if you're married, you'd be hey, I want 100% to go to my spouse. Or you'd be hey, I want 100% go to my parents, or I want 100% go to my sister or my brother. It all depends on how you want to do this. So it takes some time to figure out, okay, what do I want to do with this money? But then after that, then let's say you don't have, say something happens to that beneficiary before you do, then you can have a contingent. A contingent is hey, this main person isn't right here, then it's going to go to my to whoever as my backup. Just think of your contingent as your backup. And this is important because I don't know, there's been times where someone gets divorced, they didn't change their beneficiary, and guess what? They get remarried, they didn't even think about it, and then that spouse dies, and guess what? All that money in those investment accounts went to the ex-spouse. And that can create a lot of trouble. That can create a lot of issues. Even if you wanted to give the money back, it's still going to be taxed because you have to move that money from this person to that person over here. And that's going to be considered, that would have to go under gift tax and everything. And it makes things a lot more complicated. And when you rather have, you're already going through, the family's already going through someone passing away. You don't want to make it tougher by making things more difficult for how we're going to divide all these assets and everything. And yeah, you want to take time to mourn and remember and find solace, but those are going to be tough when you're also dealing with financial legal battles as well and tax issues. So yeah, just make sure you update your beneficiary. Just have a form that says hey, this is my beneficiary, and that's something you want to review one to two every 2 years, and just to make sure that hey, these are who I want the dollars to go to. And it's tons of times because I used to sell insurance, and you would see people like get this life insurance policy. That also, with the life insurance policy as well, you want to make sure that like, hey, I got this policy when I was younger, and now I'm much older. Things have changed. Do I really want this money to go to this person for my life insurance policy or my investment accounts? So just have a form, just like, and just double check it that makes it right and everything. Phone numbers are up to date, so that addresses are up to date, so that if the insurance company, investment company, they don't have to track you down. They can be like, hey, here's your money as fast as possible and everything. So yeah, you also want to make sure that these companies get the phone number, get the address, and some require a social security number as well. Some of them don't, like, you don't have to give it to them if you don't feel comfortable, but like definitely you want to give them the address and the phone number, the most up to date, so that that money can get there as fast as possible. Another thing on those contingency forms, they might also have a per stirpes option as well. So per stirpes basically means like, hey, if I'm giving this to, let's say I have two beneficiaries, 50%, 50%, and I'm the parent, I have two kids, and so I have a daughter and a son. If I select per stirpes on my beneficiary, what happens is if I pass away and let's say the brother passes away, instead of the daughter, or the son and the daughter getting 100% of those proceeds, per stirpes is going to say, hey, the son had two kids, so then that 50% is going to split up 25, get split in half between their two kids. So that's something you want to consider as well, as per stirpes as an option. Do you want this money to go down, or do you want to make it just stay at the top level and just like instead of the 50% going down, 100% now goes to the daughter? And those are things to consider. So these are estate planning issues. One, you want to do it because you don't want to get the courts involved because it's going to take time and money. And also then your information is public out there. And also just is more peace of mind. Instead of worrying about all these things, we can focus on the mourning and healing process of the passing away. So I would just recommend just have a document that just says, here's all my accounts, here's all my life insurance policies, here's all the other things. Like a will is important. A trust might be important down the road, but the idea is you want to have all your ducks in a row, so that when something happens, it's a 5-minute problem, not a year-long problem or a 2-year-long problem. And just keep on top of these things. This is something I do as a financial planner, is like I have my checklist and be like, okay, it's time to check this, it's time to check the tax plan, it's time to check the survivorship needs, what are we going to try for that, how our investment is doing, what's the best time to take Social Security, how's the budget doing, hey, what are some other strategies we can take a part of, hey, what are we doing for healthcare? It's right now is open enrollment, we might want to change things up. So that's that's what I do is as a financial planner, is just make sure all your ducks in a row, so that when life happens, you're on top of it and life is good. So that's all I got for today. It's can save a lot of money, can save a lot of headaches, especially if your money is going to go from your current spouse to an ex-spouse. That's not fun for anybody. So just make sure your stuff's up to date. If you have trouble, if you want to like go over this with me, I can sit down with a complimentary consultation and everything. So if you just go to Grow with Joe, let me move this cord on my keyboard. So yeah, just go right there to Grow with Joe. Start here. We can get you started. To schedule a meeting, use my Calendly, and just make things a lot easier for yourself. And the idea is, just make things simpler for your future self. One of my favorite, there's this scene in The Simpsons where Marge is telling Homer, "Hey Homer, you should spend more time with the kids because down the road you're going to regret it." And Homer's like, "Oh, that's a problem for future Homer," and I don't envy that guy. So you want to make sure you look forward to being your future self. So me at 50, 45 years old, I'm like, okay, I'm doing the things I'm having everything I'm doing right now to make sure that 45-year-old Joe is going to be set up just fine. I'm doing everything for 55-year-old Joe just to make sure he's just doing just fine. And 65, 75, whatever the age is, future Joe is going to be fine. And that's why I go with Joe, because Joe knows Joe, and he's going to make sure that I do well. And that's why I do. I just make sure that, hey, everything I do, and that's why I work on myself. I work really hard on my personal development, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Just did a yoga session this morning. Back feels a lot better. Probably gonna exercise later, or I'm gonna do some weight training later. And then I already read this morning, so I'm good in that section. So, and now I just have to write my journal, and I'll do that over breakfast right now, and then I'm setting myself up for success. And that's what this lesson today about the beneficiary is, setting yourself and your family and everyone involved with their life for success. So hope you enjoyed today's lesson. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'll be here tomorrow discussing another personal development question or session. So enjoy today's meeting. Hope you enjoyed today's meeting, and make sure you do what you need to do. So take care, and as always, go with Joe, grow with Joe, because Joe knows Joe. All right, take care.